Hey, what's going on? Ryan Nolting here with Intersection Records. And today we are going to rank the albums of the legendary British guitar player Jeff Beck. Jeff Beck's one of my favorite artists of all time. Check out my top 50 guitar players, where Jeff ranks on that. Check out my show on called The Outsiders with Jeff Beck, where I kind of do a summary of his career. You know, he started with the Yardbirds, of course, and did a couple seminal records with them, and then joined with the Rod Stewart and Ron Wood for a couple albums. He did some jazz fusion, some rock fusion, and really has done a little bit of everything in his career. We're going to go through all 18 records. Some say that he only has 14 records. I did include Beck Bogart in a piece. I included the Crazy Legs, the Gene Vincent tribute, Frankie's House, which is a soundtrack, and the 18, which he did with Johnny Depp last year. So I am going to include those just because the more Beck, the better. I did not include the live album he did with Jan Hammer, although that's incredible. Let's get started. The only one I don't have a proper prop for is Frankies Place. This is a movie soundtrack that came out in '92. And really, there are a couple full-blown songs on this record that I like. A lot of it's just little short bits like you would have in a movie. Standout tracks are track 5, Love and Death. It's a fantastic song. Cat House is the next song, 6th song. And I said it's one of his best things that he did in the 90s. He didn't do a lot of work in the 90s. But Cat House is a great album. I could hear it, maybe on the previous record, or could have fit nicely there. The rest of this record is really just soundtrack stuff. Coming in next is that Gene Vincent tribute that we talked about, Crazy Legs. So this came out in the summer of '93, a year after the previous record, Frankie's House. This is a 15-song album of all covers, and really it's more a tribute to Cliff Gallup, who is the guitar player for Gene Vincent. Bebopalula, Race with the Devil, Double Talkin' Baby, Crazy Legs. It's a rockabilly album, essentially, and it shows the versatility of what this man can do. Coming up in the blues, in the 60s blues boom of British guitar players, he shows that he can do the blues. He shows that he can do heavy blues and heavy rock. Of course, he can do jazz, and we're going to get there. This is a good record. It's not my favorite. It's really not representative of what Jeff Beck does, in my opinion. Next, Loud Hailer, his second to last studio album. This came out in 2016, and this is a pretty cool record. It's 45 minutes long, came out in July of 16. It's his 17th record. Rosie Bones sings vocals. Carmen Vandenberg is a guitar player on here, along with Giovanni Pilati on bass and David Solazzi on drums. This is a cool record. There's too much singing on this record for me. The Revolution Will Be Televised is a standout track. Scared for the Children is a mellow song, but it's got a beautiful guitar solo on it. And Rosie sings with a lot of attitude on songs like Thugs Club. Shame has some nice glassy strat work on it. A lot of singing on this record, and that doesn't help it, in my opinion. Coming in next is 1985's Flash. So this record comes out after a 5-year studio hiatus. Nile Rodgers produces several of the tracks on it. In fact, he produces like 5 of the songs here. Now think about what Nile Rodgers had just recently done. He had worked with David Bowie on Let's Dance. He had worked with Madonna. He was the it producer at the time, and I think that Jeff wanted a piece of that. He tries to go popular music here. He's coming out of the 70s of the fusion rock. And this doesn't work for me, this record. It's got the great Jimmy Hall on vocals, who's fantastic. The first song, Ambitious, is just not very good to me. It Gets Us All in the End is absolutely an attempt at going, at going for a hit, and Jimmy Hall sings his ass off on it. It's really cheesy. And I know that people love this record, and maybe I need to listen to it more, but it's it's just not that good. I put it would be It Gets Us All in the End would be cool if the 80s had never happened. Escape is the next song. Jan Hammer writes this song, and it's a really cool track. In fact, it's probably the best track on this album. It's called Escape. It's also, that song is produced by Nile Rodgers as well. People Get Ready. You know, I mean, it's the comeback song with Rod Stewart on vocals. You know, I don't know. We waited 15 years for People Get Ready. It's just, it's boring. Stop, Look, and Listen. It's a pretty cool song. It's just totally 80s out with the pastel-y synths and the, you know, just not working for a classic artist like this. Get Working, more 80s nonsense. Ecstasy is just, I put terrible. I don't like this record very much. Moving on to his 2010 album, and I do like this record a lot, Emotion and Commotion. I saw this tour, I saw him on tour 3 times on this tour, and it was unbelievable with Vinny Colaiuta on drums, and Rhonda Smith on bass, and Jason Rebello on keys. This thing is awesome. It's produced by Trevor Horn and Steve Lipson. Corpus Christi Carol, great heavy songs. It's got a 64-piece string band with it. It's a cool song. Hammerhead, one of his best songs. One of his best songs in the new millennium, for sure. Written by Jeff Beck and Jason Rebello. Again, he's the keyboard player here. Really cool song. He always played that one live up until his last shows. Never Alone, it's just a sexy ride. Somewhere Over the Rainbow, yes, that song. Serene, beautiful, amazing. Just a beautiful playing on this record. I Put a Spell on You. Josh Stone sings her butt off on this song, and it really works. And I've circled it as one of the best ones. The next song, Serene, is exactly how it sounds. It's a serene and fabulous song. Lilac Wine, Glassy Strat again. Just nice. Melda May sings vocals on it. Nessus Dorm, okay? Giacomo Puccini wrote or composed this song. Nessus Dorm, I put As Good as It Gets. It's one of his best songs of his career. In fact, if you watch the documentary that came out a few years ago, they kind of climaxed part of that video with a live version of this, and I actually was at that show in 2010 at the Eric Clapton Crossroads Guitar Festival. It's a beautiful, beautiful ballad, and you know, it gets you kind of weepy thinking about this man's just died recently and how special he was. Yeah, there's a couple. Josh Stone's next song on here, There's No Other Me, is okay. This is a good record. It's a very good record. Coming in next, his last studio album. This thing kind of blew me away when I recently listened to it again. I listened to it last summer when it came out, and I didn't really like the first song that was released called Isolation, which was a John Lennon song. So I kind of figured the rest of the album would be like this. I made a mistake on this record. This is an excellent record. I can't believe how talented Johnny Depp is. Midnight Walker, the first song, awesome. The Death and Resurrection Show, just intense. Love the vocals. Time is beautiful. It's a Dennis Wilson song, also written by Karen Lammey. I almost started crying the other morning listening to this song, thinking, one, about Dennis Wilson's death, and two, about the recent death of Jeff Beck. Sad Motherfucking Parade is the next song, written by Beck and Depp. Spoken word, pretty cool song. Next song, Don't Talk. Put Your Head on My Shoulder. Just a beautiful song. I circled it as one of the best on this album. 18. Carolina No, Brian Wilson song with Tony Asher. Pretty Again. Ooh, Baby, Baby is the next one. Smokey Robinson song, right? Just Sublime. I can't believe that Johnny Depp can sing as well as he can sing on that song. That's a tough song. Tough song. Ooh, baby, baby. But he takes it into Smokey Robinson territory. Gorgeous. You know, this is, let me stop by saying this on this record. This isn't going to remind you of Rough and Ready or Blow by Blow or Beckola. For what this is, which is a more mellow record, this is great. This is great collection. Add to his collection of art. This is beautiful. What's Going On? Again, a cover of Marvin Gaye's song. Very good. Venus and Furs, Lou Reed cover. Pretty damn cool. Let It Be Me, just emotional. Just absolutely emotional when I heard that the other morning. Stars, what would they have done next? What would they have done next? What would Johnny Depp and Jeff Beck have done next? I know they were touring. I know those tour dates last fall were excellent in Texas, I heard. And then Isolation. This is a great record, 18. Coming in next, 1999's Who Else? This is an amazing record, too. This thing's got Mama Said, openers. It's electronica, okay? So, and I know maybe some aren't going to like this electronica thing that he did in the 90s and early 2000s, but it works. You know, we talked about Flash a little bit ago. Him trying to keep up with the times by doing an 80s synth pop record, that didn't work. But him trying to keep up with the times with this, the way that he does and uses some electric music and programming, it does work. It's avant-garde, and he is an avant-garde guitar player, in my opinion. Psycho Sam, the next song, just more blues, high energy. Beck is amazing here. It's, Pino Palantino's on bass. Manu Katsu on drums. The next song, Brush with the Blues. It's a live song. Just a slow build and then full-blown Jeff Beck explosiveness. Steve Alexander on drums. Jennifer Batten on guitar. Awesome. Awesome song. The fourth song, Blast from the East. Tony Hymas wrote it with Randy Hope Taylor. Another great tune. Space for Papa. More avant-garde. Spoken word. Space for Papa. Fearless artist. Jeff Beck is fearless. He's not afraid to do something that's not been done before. And he does that a lot. Angel, Footsteps, synth, gorgeous, driven by Beck. It's guitar playing. The next one, THX 138, which is the license plate, by the way. So the movie American Graffiti, we all remember that movie. Remember John Milner, who had the hot rod? THX 138 was his license plate. I had to look that up. I was wondering why he would name a song that way. But of course, he's a hot rod guy, right? He loves his hot rods. Awesome song. Just fantastic Jeff Beck in the 90s. Killer soundscapes. The next one, Hypnotica. More traditional rock song. Even Odds is another cool song. D-Clan is the next one. Freaking great. Kind of folky, pastoral with beautiful soundscapes, guitars soaring over keyboards, and then Another Place, little ditty. This is a really cool record, people. Next up, the one album that would follow that record, yes, 2001. You Had It Coming. And boy, did we have it coming, because he kills again here. This isn't quite as... Let's see here. Where do we have it? Yes, we did. Yes, we did have it coming. Earthquake is the first song on it. Jennifer Batten song. It's a rocker. It kicks ass. The next one, Roy's Toy. Guitar sounds, electronica, heavy drums. Dirty Mind. Won a Grammy for Best Rock Instrumental. Rolling and Tumbling, the famous Muddy Waters song. Just a great track. Great Muddy Waters track. Nadia. It's a perfect use of electronica. Nateen Saheni was the British composer that wrote that song. Nadia. Next song, Loose Cannon, just industrial. Roaring guitars, snarling. Beck in fine form here on this Batten, Wright, and Beck song written. Rosebud is the next song. It's a furious, furious rock track. Left Hook, studio vamp over some keyboards, kind of similar to Rosebud. Blackbird is a little small 1 minute and 27-second ditty. And then Suspension. Very good. These two records are good. And actually, I think I'm going to switch my order. I'm going to put this one ahead of here, okay? And I think I meant to do that. This isn't quite as good as this. So the 1999 album, who else is topping this? Coming in next, Guitar Shop. So after Flash in 85, he comes back with this. And this is him rocking out again. I think that he takes another 4 years off. He only does 3 albums in the 80s. One in 80, one in 85, and one in 89. Guitar Shop is cool. There's some spoken word stuff, car lingo. Savoy's the next one, just a great rocker. Behind the Veil, it's kind of a reggae feel. Big Block. It's a huge song that he played live till the end of his career. Look how cool that cover is. Jeff up there working on his guitar. Where Were You? Just a gorgeous song. Brian May said it's one of the most beautiful guitar bits that he had ever heard. So Brian May from Queen loves that song. Where Were You? Next, Stand Out. It actually it charted at 35 on the charts back then. The songs. Next, Day in the House. Spoken word. It kind of has a Prince thing going on. Again, this record's got a lot of stuff going on as well. It's not as avant-garde as he gets in the 90s, but Two Rivers shows a mature sound. Tony Hymas is, I think, songwriting is improving as he goes along with Jeff Beck here. And then Slingshot, just a full-on rock assault. Terry Bozzio's on drums, Tony Hymas on keys, and Jeff Beck. Again, Slingshot, just full-on onslaught. And the first album of the 80s comes in next. This is There and Back. This came out in June of 80. It's a 35-minute album. It's his 9th record. It's produced by Ken Scott and Jeff Beck. This is a cool record. I don't know that it's held up quite as good as I thought it did, but Star Cycle is a cool Jan Hammer written song. Sounds modern, still fusion, but of course with Hammer, we're going to get some modern sounds here. It's a cool song. Too Much to Lose. Mellower song. Almost a little too slick. So some of the things that I like about Jeff Beck is some of the dirty grittiness of his guitar playing and some of the production, especially on some of the albums that we're going to talk about here next. Gets a little LA slick for me here. You Never Know is a good song, kind of disco Beck. Pretty kick-ass song. Jan Hammer again, great combination of Jan Hammer and Jeff Beck, right? We'll talk about it. We did not include this great live album, but this is Beck and Jan Hammer group. Just tremendous, right? Next, The Pump. The Pump was a song that you may remember from the Risky Business soundtrack. The Pump's pretty cool song. Then a couple songs I don't like, El Becco and Golden Road. I just don't care for them, but Space Boogie picks it up. Simon Phillips is the drummer on this album. He's absolutely kick-ass. Mo Foster's on bass, by the way. Jan Hammer's on the first 3 songs. Space Boogie's awesome. And then the final piece is cool guitars over keyboards. It's okay. Coming in next, now we're getting into some rare air here. Jeff Beck Group from 1972. This came out in May of 72. And this is an excellent, excellent record. This has got Max Middleton. It's got Cozy Powell on drums. He has, who else does he have here? Clive Chapman on bass and Bobby Tench on lead vocals. So this record, Ice Cream Cakes, so cool. Just funky. Glad All Over, strong, strong song. Tonight, I'll Be Staying Here With You. It's a mellow groove. Some of this record's pretty mellow. And that's why it's not quite as high as it is. Sugarcane, probably my least favorite on this record. I can't give back the love I feel for you. It's a long song title. I'm hearing some jazz creep in right here. And then Going Down, just an absolute barn burner. I Gotta Have Love, pretty cool song. Jeff Beck writes the next song, Highways, huge solo in it. And then Definitely Maybe's the last song. I wrote Time to Go to Fusion Town. Jeff Beck wrote that song as well. And Ice Cream Cakes. This is an awesome record if you like funky rock. Loosey-goosey jamming, killer drums by Cozy Powell. Coming in next is Beck Bogart and a Piece. Carmen Apiece, Jeff Beck, and Tim Bogart. These guys were in Cactus together, and they were in Vanilla Fudge together. So this thing came out in 73. So this is the album that follows that last one we talked about, Jeff Beck Group. I wrote here that 6 of the 9 songs are really killer. There's 3 duds on here, I think. If those 3 duds aren't here, this thing is just probably one of his best. And it is one of his best. This thing was recorded in December of 1972, which was when I was born. Black Cat Moan, just killer. Just killer. I hear JoJo Herman from Widespread Panic. I think Jeff Beck actually sings lead on that song. I hear Luther Dickinson's guitar style from North Mississippi All-Stars. I hear JoJo Herman's vocal style. And clearly there's some JoJo here. Ladies, next, tight but loose. Just tight looseness. Love this creamy vocals. Kicks ass. Carmen is, these guys are just strutting and swaggering along here. You know, just dangerous. The third song I don't want to talk about, On to Love You. It's not very good. Superstitious though. Great vocals. So the story of Superstitious is Stevie Wonder was in the studio with Jeff Beck, and Jeff Beck was behind the drums, and Jeff Beck's kicking this drum beat. And Stevie says, keep doing that. And Stevie wrote Superstitious, and Jeff Beck put it on this album. Jeff Beck did not get a co-write, which he probably should have, but Sweet Sweet Surrender is a ballad. It's okay. But the next several songs are killer. Why Should I Care? Just a funky old-time rock song. It sounds like Kiss to me here. Lose Myself With You, just sick music. Almost has a Judas Priest-like sound here. And Judas Priest is coming up right here. This album is very influential. We've already talked about Widespread Panic, North Mississippi All-Stars, Kiss, and Judas Priest. I hear what they would go on to do in this record. Living Alone, just awesome song, and I'm so proud. You know, some of the vocals on this record kind of keep this from being really, really great. If they had Rod Stewart, which was rumored that he would play on that album, if Rod Stewart would have sang on that album, who knows? Coming in next, 2003's Jeff. And this is the album of this whole ranking that surprised me the most. This came out in August of 03. It's his 15th record. So What is this? A killer opener written by Dean Garcia and Jeff Beck. Plan B won a Grammy. Just fearless. Use of space. Minimalistic approach, but so good. Porcupine. If the voice don't say it, then the guitar will play it. Again, some hip-hop here. Some electronica. Some programming. Serene Guitarscapes, and Saffron sings vocals on that. Seasons the next. Kick-ass song. Vocal song. Love it. Ronnie and Kana is the vocalist on this. Smooths out with some luscious guitar. One of the best songs of the 2000s. Ronnie Kanya. Great vocal song. Trouble Man. Badass again. Garcia, Beck, and Wright wrote that song. One of the best again. Grease Monkey. Just a cool ass song. Where are we here? Hot Rod Honeymoon. Rockabilly song. Va-va-voom. What a set of wheels. Retro vibe. Really cool song. Again, look at this. This record that you're probably going to see in stores cheap, because I don't think this is known as one of his best records. This is one of his best records. JB's Blues, just killer. My Thing, just amazing. Killer No Filler. I hear James Brown here. Bulgaria, 2 minutes of gorgeous playing. This is an amazing record. Moving on, and now we're into the top 5 here, okay? My 5th is Rough and Ready. Cozy Powell, Bobby Tench, Max Middleton, and Clive Chapman on bass. This is an awesome record. These guys look like twins, Cozy and Jeff. I Got a Feeling, just great. Funky, great opener. Jeff Beck wrote that song. He wrote the next song, Situation. High energy. I hear the meters at the beginning. Killer Soul, Short Business, Cozy, and Chapman. Just that rhythm section is so good. Solo at the 1 minute and 35 second mark is killer. Max's tune, it's a little too long. It's a long, kind of boring piano song by Max Middleton. I've Been Used, Cozy and Beck. At the end is just thunder and lightning. I mean, just thunder and lightning. These guys are incredible. New Ways, Train, killer drum sound. Love this song. The band here is just on fire. And then the last song, Jody, really cool song as well. Moving into the upper echelon, the debut album, Truth. Mickey Most produced this. This came out in July of '68. This comes out before Led Zeppelin 1. Shapes of Things, of course, which he did with Yardbirds. Just incredibly powerful. Let Me Love You. Rod Stewart, okay, on vocals. Ron Wood on bass. Mickey Waller on drums. This is a cool record. You shook me. Shook me, baby. Old Man River, never really understood why they put that on here. It doesn't work for me. Green Sleeves, nice acoustic piece. Rock My Plimsoll, just great blues song. Just a great song. And then Beck's Bolero, written by Jimmy Page. It's said that this track features John Paul Jones on bass, Keith Moon on drums, Nicky Hopkins on piano, Jeff Beck. I mean, need I say more? Blues Deluxe. Again, Nicky Hopkins' work on this album. Piano playing is amazing. Just amazing. Morning Dew. Morning Dew we didn't talk about. Morning Dew is an awesome song. I Ain't Superstitious. Just crushing and classic. This is an amazing record. Just an amazing record. You can see Jeff there, 1968. Moving on to my top 3. And I'm pretty solid with my top 3, I think. Number 3 is Blow by Blow. That's how good these next 3 albums are. That Blow by Blow could be his 3rd best, because this is a perfect album. Came out in March of '75. George Martin produced it. It's his 5th record. You Know What I Mean? It's just a freaking kick-ass song. Just iconic fusion. Max Middleton, who was on the previous 2 albums, wrote the song with Jeff Beck. It's just insane. She's a Woman, Lennon McCartney song. He has some Talk Box. It's probably my least favorite song on this record. That's how good this record is. Constipated Duck. It's a Jeff Beck original. It's incredible. Funky fusion. It's one of the best things that he ever did. And then Air Blower, just full-blown fusion. One of Jeff Beck's best songs that he ever did, in my opinion. The whole band gets a writing credit on it. Air Blower is unbelievable. Scatterbrain, again, prog fusion. This is a fusion journey. It's got everything. It's got everything, including perfect production and engineering. I mean, the production of this album, how good this album sounds, by George Martin. Thelonious is next. Cause We Ended as Lovers, to Sensuous, a Tone Master, a perfect album, unreal. Thelonious, which is a Stevie Wonder song. Funkasaurus Rex, killer. Freeway Jam, just a fusion masterpiece. Diamond Dust is George Martin's string work. Fabulous ending. This is a 5-star album and it's killer. But what I think is a little bit better is this. Wired. This is my second favorite Jeff Beck album. George Martin produced some of this. Jan Hammer had a little bit of a producing credit on the song Blue Wind, and Chris Bond. This came out that next year in May of 76. Lead Boots. Just incredible. Max Middleton song. Jan Hammer is a monster. Narada Michael Walden's on drums on this record. One of my favorite drummers. Check out my 50 favorite drummers show. Subscribe to my channel. I know this video is incredibly long. Subscribe to my channel. They're not all this long. Wilbur, Bass Come on Bass. Lead Boots is awesome. Come Dancing. Let's go to Funktown. Narada composed the song. Very cool. I called it a Pimp's Waltz. Goodbye Pork Pie Hat's a Charles Mingus song. Mingus wrote him a nice letter thanking him and how much he liked his cover of it. Just airy and oozing coolness, dripping Strat juice. He's using the 1960s Strat that John McLaughlin had given him. It's amazing. Head for the Backstage Pass, great bass. Philip Bailey plays some bass, some drums on this record, on that song. Moving on, Blue Wind is the next song on the. By the way, look at that Oxblood Les Paul. Blue Wind is a masterpiece. It's produced by Jan Hammer. It just is as good as it gets in Jeff Beck's catalog. The Moog keyboards. Sophia is written by Narada Michael Walden. It's Narada's masterpiece. Mahu Beknu is what I wrote. Mahu Beknu. Just Narada's soul is. It's amazing. And then Play With Me is the next one. Narada's writing again. Hammer and Beck playing with me. And then Love Is Green is fantastic. I mean, this is an amazing record. Yeah, Richard Bailey, on Good Boy Pork Pie Hat, plays drum. Richard Bailey plays on Head for My Backstage Pass. And looks like Narada Michael Walden plays drums on the rest of the record. This is my second favorite Jeff Beck album. This is just incredible. You know, this and Blow by Blow, if you like jazz fusion or rock fusion. My favorite Jeff Beck album is Beckola. This is the second record. This again has Ron Stewart singing, and Ron Wood playing bass. I'm sure Nicky Hopkins is all over this thing. Yeah, Nicky Hopkins on piano, Tony Newman on drums. All shook up. Just tremendous phrasing by Rod Stewart. Yeah, Mickey Most produced this. This came out in '69. This is just amazing. It's a classic album. Nicky Hopkins' piano playing is so perfect on this record. Spanish Boots. What would this band have done if they wouldn't have broken up? Because this is better than the album that preceded it, Truth. Where do they go from here? Rod Stewart's coming into his own. Spanish Boots is just incredible. What would they have done in the 70s? Girl from Mill Valley is a cool piano piece by Nicky Hopkins, who gets the writing credit. Jailhouse Rock, one of the best covers of an Elvis song ever. Lieber and Stoller song, the phrasing by Beck. Plinth, wow. written by Hopkins, Stewart, and Wood. Powerful, great song. Again, I wrote Should Have Stayed Together. So perfect, powerful blues. The Hangman's Need is British, raw guitar power. Almost hear the Allman Brothers here. And think about this, this is 69. If you don't think Duane Allman was influenced by Jeff Beck, you're crazy. I hear some ZZ Top here, too, on that song. Hopkins is so key, again. And then Rice Pudding, just complete global domination. Just playing as well as you can. The whole band wrote that song, except for Rod Stewart does not have a writing credit. Folks, that's my list. Subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot for watching all these videos. Peace out. We'll talk later.